Hey everyone, it's Jeannie from A1 Vacuum and Sewing, and I'm going to do a little accessory unboxing overview for what comes with the Luminaire. This will apply to the Solaris for the most part, but let's go ahead and get started. And then I'll point out the differences because there has been a Luminaire 1, 2, and 3 with upgrades. So the machines don't all come with the exact same stuff, but we'll go over that. I have my little accessory list here to keep me on track, and I thought I'd start out with what is mostly in your accessory box, and I might have combined some stuff because this is from my personal Luminaire that I'm going over with you right now. I'm going to move this out of the way. It doesn't have to sit here. And I have some of my other goodies in here as well. And let's go ahead and turn on my Luminaire, which I absolutely love. And let's talk about your accessory box. So, because this video also, if you're going to be doing your classes through us, we're going to ask that you watch this video so you can be set up for the class, because there are a couple assembly things that you are going to need to do. So, hang on. Okay, your accessory box. I love this. It's a clamshell, meaning it's hinged, which is really nice. They redesigned this so it's different from the one that came with the, different than the one that came with the Destiny and the Dream Machine. And I love it more. So the trays sit over here, but they're meant to go over on this side as well, so they can just rest right over here. And I actually have this in my side table next to my machine, and I leave it just like this opened up. Pull out my drawer, it's just like this. I can grab my feet and accessories as I see fit. And why don't we start with one of these trays? And, oh, you know what? There are some things in here. No, actually, this is all stuff and I'll point out stuff that you might not have if you haven't upgraded all the way to a 3, but your J-foot. I actually have the J-foot on the machine. Guess I had pulled it off, but this is your J-foot, and it's going to come on your machine. It should be, here, I'm going to put mine on. It comes on the machine. So don't go looking for it in here. If your machine is brand new out of the box, it's already on the machine. You're also going to have your end foot. This is your end foot, and we do an accessory class. I'm not going to go into these feet in detail because we do an accessory class where we go through these feet, and I'm just kind of sticking to my list right here. I'm just going to go down. This is your G foot, and your G foot is your overcasting foot. You have an I foot, which is your zipper foot. You have your buttonhole foot. Now, your buttonhole foot sits in your tray. If you got your machine new, it was packaged. And then the spot for it, you know what? Let's empty this all out, and then we will put it all back as we go. Do you like this? Okay, instructions for the buttonhole foot. But your buttonhole foot has a little spot over here, which is so handy. Don't you love that? And it comes with a stabilizer plate. This is the stabilizer plate. This is the actual buttonhole foot. This little part here sits inside this track in your, and I just discovered that the other day when I was doing my Avenir one. And I had no idea that there was a little crack in there that would just rest into. So what's the stabilizer plate for? That is for if you're doing like heavy fabrics or thin fabrics that maybe aren't moving well underneath the foot. You stabilize it by putting it in between the two. It sandwiches it, and then it moves it as one piece. First time I used it was I had a customer that was trying to make buttonholes on a fleece coat, and it was too big and it was getting bogged down, and then we used the stabilizer plate and it moved beautifully. Okay, so we are on to the next accessory. So we've gone through these. You have an R foot. Your R foot is going to be your blind hem foot, and all of these are in the manual. They're also in your explanation on the machine. You have an M foot, which is your button fitting foot. We're going to use that in your accessory class as well. And then you have your compact dual feed foot. Let's talk about this. This does not come with all the machines. So the compact dual feed I can't even remember if it came with the 3. It definitely didn't come with the 1 or the 2. I bought this separately. So the one that comes with the machine is a little bigger and bulkier, and the back end doesn't rise up like this. It kind of drops down. And in our store, we call it the big butt dual feed foot. But I purchased, mine's actually a baby lock one because we were a baby lock dealer as well. But I'm going to include this with my Luminaire when I sell it. I like it better because it's compact. And I found that when I used the other one, sometimes the fabric would get stuck under the back of the foot. Not a big deal. I knew it might happen. I would just flick it and release it and it'd be fine. But this is the compact one. I think it comes with a 3. I'm not positive, but I think it comes with the Luminaire 3. Does not come with the 1 or the 2. You're going to have the big butt one. All right. And it has a little spot right here. This part just sits in there. Your cord goes right there and you are set, and look how nice and tidy that is. All right. It comes with one sole, and this is the sole that it comes with. So to take these on and off, you have little cutouts right here, and you have little nubs that stick out right here where my thumb is and my pinky are pointing. And you just go ahead and put those right on top, and it just goes in like that. And then you push down on the front to take it off. So again, those little nubs go right there. This is the main, I'd call this the zigzag sole that comes with your dual feed. It's the only one that comes with this. Well, it comes with the couching one. I'll show that to you later. But you can get a 1/4 inch, a stitch in the ditch, an open toe. The couching, depending on what model you have, will come with it as well. But this is what I use to do almost all of my sewing. So I'm going to take that off, put this right here, and this is going to go right over here on this side. And it says DF dual feed, so you can just pop it right in there. Okay, you have a straight stitch foot. Straight stitch foot is going to come in some packaging. I took mine out. And for straight stitching, and I think there's an explanation, said something about working with fine fabric too. And it just fits right in here. This is not labeled. You can put it right here. Your C foot. Your C foot is one of your free motion feet. You can just pop it right here in the tray. You have an Echo Quilting. This is your Echo Quilting E foot for free motion. And then you have your O foot. This is a free motion foot as well. It's a hopper foot. You see it has a little spring. This goes over the needle bar. As the needle bar goes up and down, this hops along your fabric. See? Okay, those are all free motion feet. And again, I'm just going in order with your included accessory. Your W foot. This is your embroidery foot. Do not confuse it with your free motion foot. Every month, somebody comes in and they're using this to do their embroidery. Remember, this open toe foot is for free motion. This closed toe W foot is for your embroidery. And you're going to notice it doesn't have a plug to plug it in like you did with your Destiny and your Dream Machine. Doesn't need that anymore because you have a projector. Whoops, backwards. You're going to get a 1/4 inch foot with guide. So this comes with your machine and it fits right up here. That's your 1/4 inch foot. And then you're going to have this. This is your adapter and screw. So here is your adapter right here, and it comes with this screw, and I always screw it together. Here's your adapter screw. When you get this, I say screw it in here. Otherwise, it becomes misplaced. You don't know what it is. You don't know what it goes to. It goes to your adapter. I'm going to talk to you about your adapter really quickly. Your machine, this machine here is, they call it mid shank, but I mean, it's high shank. It means that your screw screws in high and not low. So the midline brother and baby lock machines, they screw in low down here. But this is going to screw in high. You might have some low shank accessories. These are both low shank accessories. Do you see how low that screws in compared to where this screws in? I'm going to put it next to it. See how mean, that's right about the same height, but this one screws in down here and this one screws in much higher, okay? Here you can see it from the front. So this is low shank, high shank. So I don't see you ever really wanting to use this when you have this. This is, I mean, this is great. This is so much better. But if you did want to use a low shank accessory, let's say you forgot your dual feed foot and this is all you have with you. What happens is, I'm going to put my foot up. I'm going to unscrew this. This does not come with the machine, but I would get this. This is the advanced screwdriver. This should never be loose enough for you to undo by hand. So when I take my low shank accessory and I put it on here, I'll put it on right. I compare it to a bar stool. When I go to sit on a bar stool, I'm so short, my feet dangle and they don't hit the ground. Okay? Oop. You know what? Let me do this instead. This is also a low shank accessory. So not made for this machine. It's just going to be a little easier for me to put on right now. I'm going to put this on. And now I'm going to put my foot down. And you're going to see I am much too high. I can fit my finger under here. You're supposed to just be able to fit some fabric and maybe some batting. So that accessory is not going to work with this machine unless you use your adapter. So you can use low shank accessories with your machine. There might be something you might want to use. How to put on the adapter. I'm going to unscrew this. This is like a half moon. So is your needle bar. It's flat right here and rounded on this side. Let me see if I can get you a better angle. Head on. Is that better? So you can go ahead and, there we go. Slip this. I'm going to put my foot back up so I have some room. Slip this over the screw. And then you're going to use that first screw that comes with the machine to attach it. There. Find your screw hole. Okay. Now I extended this down, and now it will take low shank accessories. Looking for my screwdriver. Whoops. Sorry. On a rolling table. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up first. And now I can put my low shank accessory on here. And I'm going to tighten this screw. And I'm going to tighten this screw. Remember, nothing should be loose enough for you to undo by hand. And now I'm going to go ahead and put my foot down. And now it's perfect for me to do my free motion quilting. I'm just going to put a piece of batting under here so you can see. Okay? See that? So you can use low shank accessories. I honestly have never used a low shank accessory with this machine. I just haven't found the need to. But maybe you have a favorite free motion quilting foot that's low shank. Now you can still use it. So I'm going to go ahead and take all of this off. That's your adapter lesson. This has to come totally off. And I would recommend that you leave these two connected and throw that in your accessory box. In your accessory box. Here we go. Bet you didn't know I was going to be singing to you today. And I'm going to go ahead and put this back on. Now, what happens if you put a high shank accessory on your... I don't think you can even do it. I think there's not enough room. Hand tighten, and then always take a screwdriver and tighten it a little bit more. Did you see how much I tightened it? It was literally like that. And now I can't undo by hand, and it's not going to shake off in the middle of my sewing, which is always scary. Every once in a while, somebody attaches a foot at the store and they don't tighten it. Could be me. And then I go to sew on it, and then I'm doing a demo, and then it falls out and scares me. So you just always want to tighten it with a screwdriver. And this is the advanced screwdriver. It comes in a set. Okay, so we are on to our next page. Let me go ahead and zoom back out again. So what we've done so far is we did our first whole page, and now we're on this page. We did the very top screw. You have some needles that come with the machine. So you have a set of ballpoint needles. You have a twin needle. We use this in your accessory class. And you have a sample set of needles with, like, I think 7511, 9014s. And I think the middle are ballpoint as well, but I'm not positive. I forget. So here are needles that come with the machine. They actually have a handy dandy little spot here in your tray to store them. So these two can go right in here. And this can go right there. Isn't that neat? Bobbins. Class 15 bobbins. So you're going to get a pack of 10 bobbins. And this is what you want to use with the machine. Do not use metal bobbins. Do not use short bobbins. Do not use rounded bobbins. Sometimes people come in with issues and they all stem from the bobbins that they're using. So this is just a popular size. It's class 15. If you have other bobbins in your stash and you're not sure if you should use them, take them, put them next to each other. And if they're the same height, you're good to go. If you have a short L bobbin, this is an L bobbin with lots of thread hanging off of it. Hang on, I'm just winding it up so it's not like a big mess. I use L bobbins with my PQ 1500. I also use L bobbins with my multi-needle. So I have L bobbins here at the house. This is an L bobbin. But I want you to see the difference in height. Do you see that? They're much shorter. Not like huge 10 amount shorter, but they're shorter. You can use your L bobbin. I'm going to go rogue right now and jump ahead. I'm going to put these two back, but just take your bobbins and put them next to each other. Same height, go ahead and use them. If you are going to use your L bobbin, you need to use your center pin. And your machine should have come with a center pin. It looks like this. You see that? I'm going to show you how to use it. Oh my goodness. Your Luminaire has a one-step plate changer. Yes, I did just pop that off so easily. Oh my goodness. I was doing something with Vanish. I would have started sewing and used this. All right. You just take out your bobbin. You put your center pin, and that's going to elevate your bobbin a little bit. You just drop it right in here. Whoop, sorry. I didn't even have to take off my needle plate to do that, but that just shows you. And then you can put your L bobbin in. Just use it like you normally would. But that center pin elevates it a little bit and is going to make it easier to use. And then we're ready to go. L bobbin in, center pin in place. When you're done, you're going to take it out. So that's what your center pin is for. I'm going to go ahead and take this out right now before I forget. I'm going to take my center pin. Did I just take it out? Oh, look, it was attached. So I'm going to take that out and put it away. And that is your center pin. And then let's go ahead and put this back on so I don't forget it. I'm queen of losing stuff. Here we go. Let's do more. So those are your bobbins. So you should have 10 of them. Seam ripper. Seam ripper is right here on this tray. And I like to just push it in to make it come out. So if you're having trouble getting it out, you have to push on this then, and it'll just pop it out. All right, you're going to have some embroidery scissors. I've never even opened mine, so I'm just going to put them back in the box. The embroidery scissors, they're super nice, but I just have so many other scissors that I like more, but it's nice to just have them. You've got a cleaning brush right here. You have a hole punch, an eyelet punch. So if you've never used this, this is how you use it. I've used it once in my life. I was doing a Kimberbell project, and I needed to make, it was like that little lace-up sneaker, and I needed to make holes to put the laces in, and I was like, I'm going to use that eyelet punch. It doesn't have a huge hole, but you're going to take your fabric, put it on a self-healing mat, and you're just going to take this and push down. I prefer to do it on like a wooden block because it will like kind of mar your mat a little bit. So I have a wooden block that I use mine on, but it just makes a little itty bitty hole that big. Do you see it right there? There's my hand through it. That's your eyelet punch. That's the second time I've used this one. I used it in a demo video. All right. Eyelet punch. You also have, we're going to go up here. This is, I call this the worthless screwdriver. And I call it the worthless screwdriver because it is tiny. So it has like, it's not very big, so you can't really turn that much. What I use it for, the one thing I use it for, there is an adapter. This is my new walking foot for my Avinair, which is the same as my old walking foot, except this one says brother on it. This adapter, if you have one of these and you're switching out, there is a screw here on the side, and that is what I use this for. So if you have an adapter before our next class, and this is an adapter for the quilt bars, okay? I want you to go ahead and I want you to put this on your walking foot so we don't have to do it at class. And if you don't have it, you should get one. The adapter comes with quilt bars. I have so many quilt bars, I don't know what goes to what. This is from the Brother pack. There's a quilt bar bundle that comes with this adapter and a left and a right quilt bar. I would get the Brother version for sure. I've had the Baby Lock version. Theirs has a black plastic piece, and that piece goes bad. So you're going to get your useless screwdriver. This is part of your setup for class if you have the quilt bar. If you don't worry about it. You can watch it in class as a demo. And you are going to go ahead and put it, see how this part is flat and this part kind of has an outy part in the back top? You're going to put it right here on the top of your quilt bar. Your dual feed foot, just like that. And you are going to screw it on with your worthless screwdriver, which is useful in this instance. And you're going to put that, and once you install it, you're never going to take it out again. And then that is for your quilt bars left and right. I'll just show you one. Again, this does not come with the machine, and the quilt bars do not come with the machine. But now you can go ahead and, oh, you know what? I got to use the right one because 2 of these were for the Baby Lock. Here we go. Do you see how that just goes right in there? And that is your quilt bar. Used for sewing parallel rows of stitching. So you sew, and then you can put your quilt bar up, move it over, and you can put this in the last row of stitching that you did. And then you look over here. Okay? That's quilt bar sewing. Now I know I have so many, and I'm going to just keep my skinny ones because those are going to fit on my machine. I am going to take these off, take this off, and transfer it back to my other walking foot. Yours will not come with this. This is an additional accessory. This and the quilt bars. But I wanted to show you when you could use that. And I'm sure there's going to be other times that you're going to be using this screwdriver. But that's the only time I ever use it because it's so little. This is my walking foot, my dual feed for my dual feed for my Avinair. And so I'm going to put this on there because this is the one that I'm going to be using. This is part of your pre-class prep. Set that up if you want it, and you can always get it at the store. We carry those at the store, and that lives up there. You're not going to take it off again. Alrighty, next, I'm going to put this back before I walk around and lose it. And I'm going to put my useful screwdriver to the side. That was this guy. This is your black-handled screwdriver, and I love the black-handled screwdriver because it has ridges on the side. Do you see those where it's kind of raised? And for me, I use it for my changing out my needle screw. because, and it's nice. See how I'm sliding it back and forth and it doesn't come off because those ridges. So this is where I like to use this screwdriver. It doesn't fit over here. So I'm sure there's some other, does it fit over there? Hang on. Hang on. Am I giving you misinformation? Oh yeah, it totally fits here. So you could use it here too. Well, it kind of works there. The whole thing fits in there. So you can use it on this screw as well if you want. But I mainly use this on my needle screw. And now that I use my advanced screwdriver, I don't really use this at all. But it used to be one of my favorite screwdrivers. If you don't have this, then you might be wanting to use this. All right. Other things. You are going to have a multi-positional screwdriver. So let's talk about that. So this screwdriver has 3 different settings. Do you see how it has a 1, 2, and 3? So let's set our screwdriver for our first setting, number 1. And now you can use it on this. You could use it over here. You can use it wherever you want. You can also set it so it swings down to here. And because sometimes a handle will get in the way, you know, something. This is pretty small, but now maybe you want to unscrew the screws on a needle plate or somewhere. Maybe it's easier for you to hold it this way. The final setting is going to be to take this and swing it all the way in here to the inside. And when I say inside, what I mean is the inside of this. Now you can use it over here. It does fit over the screw on this handle, so you can use it here to unscrew this screw. And it's also made for you to use with your hoops. So I'm going to just grab a hoop. This is my 6x6. This doesn't come with the machine, but you can take this, and you know it's kind of hard to tighten it just with your fingertips, and it can hurt. People have those little gummy cushy things they put over here. If you set this up 2, 3, you can just slide this on here. That screw there. Did you see it seat in? And then you can grab it with your whole hand and tighten it up, which makes it a lot easier. So there's 3 different settings on that. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and put this away. You do have a special little spot in one of your trays for this to go into, just like that. Next, you're going to get 3 different spool caps that come with your machine. You get 1 small, 2 medium, and 1 large. You want to use the right spool cap for the right job. You're also going to get this special spool cap, which is this little gray one, and I absolutely love it. So if you're using, let's come up here. I'm going to put my lid up. If you're going to be using thread like this, this is what is this? Isocord. I will use my isocord with no spool cap at all because look how nicely it feeds off. I'm just going to grab this and pull to the right. It just comes right off, okay? Or you're going to want to use it with this spool cap. This doesn't work with all mini cones, but it works with like these. It works with glide thread. It's going to work with Orifel. I use confetti thread, and it works with my confetti and my Tootie. That just slides right in, and you snug it back, and then it just holds the... So the first choice is going to be this gray spool cap. Second choice, no spool cap at all. I'm going to take this out. I'm just going to pull my thread. See how it just feeds off? And then your third choice, if you can't take it and you have to have a spool cap, you could use this little one. But you want to snug it nice and tight. What I wouldn't do is I would not use one of these. Because what happens is it gets loose. And then at some point, your thread's going to get caught in between the spool cap and the end of the spool. You're not going to know what's going on. It's going to snap your needle. You're going to be confused and think something's wrong with your machine, and there's nothing wrong with your machine. You're just using the wrong spool cap, okay? I'm just winding up my thread. So that is your spool cap lesson. If you're using a spool, always use a spool cap. Spool is... Just so you know the difference, these are spools, okay? Same size top and bottom. This is a spool. This is a mini cone. So mini cone, Number 1 choice, this if it works. Number 2 choice, nothing at all. Number 3 choice, maybe the tiniest one, but don't use the other ones and just make sure it's always snug back. When you use a spool, you want to choose the right spool cap for the job. You've got this little one, you don't want to use this big spool cap because then the thread has to go up and over and around and it just like can affect your tension. Okay, so you want to use this one. You want to use something that is a little bigger all the way around. What you don't want to do is you don't want to take this little spool cap and use it on this one, right? That will snug it back, but the point of your spool cap is to hold it back, but also make sure that your thread doesn't get caught. You know how you have those, can you see one on this? You can see it on here for sure. You don't want it to get caught on one of these as it's feeding out. See that right there? That holds it. You don't want to use this because your thread's going to get caught in there, okay? What you want to use is you want to use whatever's going to be bigger, a little bit bigger all the way around. And that way it's never going to get caught on that the little notch. All right, there you go. I'm going to put my thread over here where we will come back to that really quickly, but that is going to be your spool cap lesson. I'm going to take these and just put them over here in my accessory tray. So we've gone through all our spool caps. You have a 2-thread spool stand. So let's look at your 2-thread spool stand. It comes like this. I love it. Has 2 magnets on the bottom, so it's going to go onto your lid. The way I open it, I'm going to engage my belly. Here's my belly right here. I like to take this and put it against my belly. You're going to have these things that you pinch. You don't have to do it like this. I've just seen people struggle opening this, so I want to show you how I do it, and then, of course, you can do it anyway. I just put it against my belly. I pinch these 2 so it'll release, and then I put my fingers here, and I push this to separate it. Does that make sense? So I'm going to pinch my belly, pinch these 2 in, and I'm going to rest my finger here, but at the same time, push this forward to take it off. That's your lid. How this gets put together. I love this. It's all one piece. There's no screws to deal with. Nothing. You don't have to poke your needle, your spool pins into this. So you're going to raise this to the right, put this up, and then swing this to the left. Whoops, this part, your guide. And then these just come straight up. When you're done with it, fold those down, put this down, swing this to the right, swing this to the left, and put this back on. You can put it right here. You don't have to use your belly. Pinch. Oh, yeah. How about you don't use your belly? I don't know. For me, it's just comfortable like that. Okay. So you can rest it right here, pinch in, and just kind of push back with your fingers. This is going to go right on top of your machine. If you had a Destiny or a Dream machine, the lid on that only sat probably at an angle like this. It did not fold all the way flat. This will fold flat. I'm putting this all together. So you can extend it, put it all together, and then just put it right here on the top of your machine. And that is where it's going to live, just like that. Okay, I'm going to put it away. Just want to show you how to set it up. We'll put this away now. Yes, right here. Just like that. And okay, let me put this over here. That is your thread stand. You're going to have these little clips. These are your bobbin clips. And your bobbin clips, in a second, let me grab, where's my bobbin? I had that bobbin with vanished thread on it. And somebody pointed this out to me and I never realized, but these go on the lid of your accessory box. These just help keep your thread nice and tidy. So you just pop it over, So it's a way to keep your bobbin thread from unspooling. And the other thing you can do is remove the top styrofoam that goes on the lid. And then these have, because I was trying to put them together and that didn't work, but do you see how they have like these little grooves and then these little round parts? So the grooves go over these little, there's like matching, do you see that? Those match with, sorry, those grooves. So you can just put it right in here and see, it doesn't move. It just stays right there in your lid. And you can put a whole bunch in there. So I saw somebody that had them all in there. I've never used mine. I use bobbin boats, but if you want to, you can put these in there as well. So I'm just going to put this back in the bag and put my bobbin over here. It's stuff that doesn't go with this that we're just using to help demo. All right, next. What's next? You're going to have felt that comes on the machine. So it's right here. And that just makes sure that your your thread spools don't like rattle around. It's just some spool felt support. Let's go to the inside. All right. We're going to do this page. You've got, 2 spool nets that came with your machine. Some of you might have one if you bought it used because these are like consumables and sometimes people don't return them. So if you imagine this is monopoly, which is like fishing line, and it like puffs off of this and makes a big old mess, you can take your spool net, open it up, make sure the thread is feeding towards the machine and where it needs to go, or up on the spool stand, not down, not the opposite direction. And just put this right on here. And now it keeps your thread like nice and tidy. Okay, that's what your spool net's for. I don't use a lot of messy thread, so it's really rare for me to use my spool net. Last time I used my spool net was with some metallic thread that when it was unspooling, I was watching it because I was getting some breakage. So I followed the path of my thread back and I was watching it spool off, and it was spooling off. But every once in a while it would throw 2 loops, and then it was coming out of my step 1 of my threading. So I put this on just to make sure it fed out evenly and it wasn't throwing 2 loops of thread at a time. So I'm going to take my spool nets. Let's put those to the side. You have a embroidery plate. This is your embroidery plate right here. I've never used mine. If you look at your PDF explanation, I just have mine pulled up. It says the embroidery needle plate cover and under some conditions, based on the type of fabric stabilizer or thread being used, there may be some looping in the upper thread. In this case, attach the included embroidery needle plate cover to the needle plate. I'm going to show you how to put it on, which I've done before, but I haven't never used it. I've never felt like if I've ever had loops, it was from me not threading my machine right. So this one's never even been open. I'm going to open it right now. Oh, maybe it's been open. So I'm going to just take it. You have 2 little, sorry. Embroidery arm is in between me and the machine. You have these round circles and you have these round nubs. Put it like this. 1 nub in and 1 nub in. And it just goes like that. Like that. That opening should be right over the hole in your needle plate. I've only ever gone as far as putting it on. I've never used it. I would say if you are having some kind of issue, rethread first. I've really never found a time where I've needed this. So, but I did want to show it to you. And it does come with all the embroidery machines. I've used it on my multi-needle, never my Luminaire sit-down. Just rethread. Okay, you're going to have a knee lifter. The knee lifter is, you probably will find you're not going to be needing it, but this is your knee lifter. When we do our sewing class, have it because I will have you put it in just to experience the knee lifter. I love the knee lifter on the right machine, but your machine has, if you're on the Luminaire or the Solaris, you have an auto lift button. So that's probably what you're going to use most, but I will show you this in your sewing class. Okay, 2 bobbin cases. So you're going to have one here that's called the alternate bobbin case. And this has a dot of purple paint on the center of the bobbin case right here. This has never been used. On your machine, I'm going to take out my other bobbin case. We're going to take this off, my one-step plate changer. This is my original bobbin case. I have never had any issues with it. A little dirty, huh? Oh, you know what? I do have a needle strike. Do you see up here on the very top? Those are needle strikes. 1, 2, 3. Look at me bragging about not. So I did have a needle strike on here, but it hasn't affected the use, and I've just been using it, no problem. But if you get a needle strike and it breaks off a chunk of your bobbin case, that's a good time to throw this away, and you're going to start using your new bobbin case. They are exactly the same. They're tensioned the same. The difference is with this one has a dot of green paint. Do you see it right there on the screw? That is Loctite. That means they've glued it shut. If you break that seal, then we know when we service the machine, it's for us to know whether or not that's been tampered with. So this should be used with almost all of your sewing in your bobbins. There's no paint on that screw, so you can adjust it. That becomes a slippery slope. I've never adjusted my bobbin cases ever for my sewing on my machine. I would just use this as your secondary bobbin case. If you feel like you know what you're doing, adjusting your bobbin case, you can do it, but just use this as your secondary. This as your main. I've never touched the screw on my bobbin case for my sewing embroidery on my Luminaire. That doesn't mean I haven't touched it on my long arm or my PQ 1500 or some of those other machines. Just use this as your secondary. Okay, I'm going to put this back in here gently. You should never have to force it. There we go. And it should sit there and have a little wiggle. Those are your 2 bobbin cases. I'm going to put this one away. Needle plate. You are going to have 2 needle plates. This is your zigzag needle plate, and it's called a zigzag needle plate because you have this hole right here that goes wide that you could do a zigzag stitch with, okay? Because your needle can go into any part of that. This is your straight stitch needle plate, and your straight stitch needle plate comes with one little hole. You're going to use this when you're free motion quilting, when you're piecing and your fabric's getting sucked down into that hole because it's fine, or you're stitching stuff, that's going to be fine. So if you're struggling with any of that, put on your straight stitch needle plate. You definitely want to use it for free motion quilting. It will alleviate a lot of your tension issues. And if you have eyelashing, because you're using this needle plate, and as you're moving it, it's pulling your stitch left and right instead of just going straight along because you're free motion, your fabric's going left and right. You can use this. That hole is going to keep your stitch going in place and just going straight down in whatever direction that you're going. Okay, straight stitch needle plate. Let's talk about this. If you have a Luminaire, your needle plate came like this, your straight stitch. It came with your bobbin cover with marks on it. I like this on my machine at all times, so I immediately switched it out, and I took this and I put it on my machine, and I put the one without marks back into my straight stitch needle plate, and this is how this lives. I put this over here, straight stitch needle plate. I store it in the bottom of my tray, and then all my goodies, I just kind of put them on top. These are things that I'm not really using that much, but I like to know where they are. And this is how they all live. But I would swap out that needle, the bobbin cover with marks. I would take that and I would put it on your machine. If you got a Solaris, it came with the bobbin cover with marks was already on your machine. If you got a Luminaire, brand new out of the box, then this is on your straight stitch needle plate if you're looking for it and you don't know where to find it. But if you bought one used, most likely the person's going to have switched it out because we usually tell them to do that when we do our class. All right, So you have a bobbin cover with the hole in it. That's for cording if you want to run something heavier that you hand wind on your bobbin. And then you have the one with marks, which you just saw me put on the machine, and you have one without marks, and I put that on my straight stitch needle plate. Let's talk about your hoops. So you are going to have with your machine, and this depends on what version you have. If you have let me grab this. If you have the if you have the Luminaire 2 or the Luminaire 3, these are the hoops that come with the machine. Luminaire 2 and 3 will come with a 4x4, and it will come with a 5x7, a 10.5 by 10.5, which has the it has the little lever for tightening it. So you'll get this one. And then you will also get the 10.5 by 16. Okay. So the Luminaire 2 and 3 come with these 4 hoops. If you have the Luminaire 1, did I already say this? I lost my train of thought because Patrick just came in with the dogs, and you know they're super loud, so I paused the video. If you got the Luminaire 1, your machine came with, hang on a second here. The original Luminaire came with a 9.5 by 9.5. It came with the same other hoops. So it came with the 4x4, the 5x7, the 9.5 by 9.5, and the 10.5 by 16. The original Luminaire 1 did not come with the 10.5 by 10.5. I know it says 10.5 and 5/8, but I'm calling it the 10.5 by 10.5. It did not come with this hoop. However, if you did upgrade 1, then you got this hoop with your machine. But it did not originally come with the Luminaire 1. Upgrade, then you had it. Then you had your 9.5 and then all of these. So I'm going to go ahead and put these to the side. Okay, so let's talk about the hoops. Your hoops. These do not come with grids. They don't come with grids because now you have a protractor, you have your camera, you have all sorts of stuff. You do not need to use the grids. So 4.5, I have the Luminaire 2. So mine did not come with a 9.5 by 9.5. If you have a Luminaire 3, that did not come with a 9.5 by 9.5. You'll just have the 4x4, the 5x7, the 10.5 by 10.5, and the 10.5 by 16. Okay? Scanning mat with magnets. Here's the scanning mat with magnets. It's going to come with 6 green magnets, and then here's your scanner. To be honest, we barely use this anymore because a lot of times we forego the scanner by just taking a picture and sending it to the machine. We will show you how to do that. But that's those 2 items right here. You're going to get a sample of bobbin thread. If you bought a used machine, a lot of times this doesn't come with it. I've never used mine because I like pre-wound bobbins. And then there's going to be a sample of stabilizer as well. All right. In your bag of goodies, there is not much in your bag of goodies. And that's okay. When I just looked up that needle plate cover, I went in here into my online. Let's close that. Close. You have an online manual right here. And I'm not going to go into it in depth, but there's my PDF manual. I was looking for the needle plate. I know that was an embroidery needle plate, and then I just did a search for it. Needle plate and search for it. So you're going to have a built-in manual. I know some of you love the a paper manual, and if you do love your paper manual, you can get a they sell them on like eBay. You can just look up Luminaire manuals, and they sell beautiful wire-bound ones, and I think they're like $60 for everything. So what you will get in your bag of goodies is going to be I'm going to take this out because this comes with upgrade 2. Here's your bag of goodies. Warranty and registration. Something for embroidery, because you can buy more designs on embroidery that come on the machine, like Disney designs and all sorts of Pixar and stuff like that. You're also going to get, these are white calibration sheets. Never used them. You're going to get, I don't even know what these are called. I've never used them. I've gotten them. Let's see. Are they on here? These are your grid sheet sets. Grid sheet sets. I've never used them. There's a quick reference guide. I love a quick reference guide because, you know, quick stuff like threading, winding a bobbin, preparing for embroidery. So that kind of stuff is in here. Product safety guide. I've never even opened mine. I probably should, but I feel like I'm pretty safe. An accessory guide. So this is going to be other accessories that you can buy for your machine. It's kind of fun. And this comes in there too. So, oh, and one more thing that should be in there should be your snowman stickers. I love snowman stickers. So snowman stickers. And that's everything that comes in that bag. So I'm going to go ahead and put all my stuff back. Now, if you upgraded to a 2 or you bought a 2, you are also going to get endpoint stickers. These did not come with the original Luminaire. So this is going to come with your upgrade 2 or up endpoint stickers. So I'm going to put those in here as well. Okay. A couple other things that are going to be in the bag. Let me put this here. Or in your with your stuff. We went through all of this. This page. You get a chalk pen. I don't think anyone uses their chalk pen, but they always include it. So you got a chalk pen. You're going to get a stylus. So this is your stylus right here. Again, you can kind of, you can pinch right here to pull it out. Does take a AA battery or no, a AAA battery. So you slide down right there. There's one AAA battery. So you need a battery to make it done. We will use this in our, oh, I should take this off, right? No longer. This machine's not going to be mine any longer. It's going to go to a new home. So, so this is going to be the stylus. And it's your dual purpose stylus. Here's your holster. This holster is going to go on the side of the machine. Let me see if I can show you. Here we go. Side of the machine right here. And your holster can just live here. Just like that. And then you can pop your pen down in here if you want. I prefer to leave mine up here. But there's that holster. Okay. Let's come on back over here. This is the jewel box that you're seeing right here. That's your jewel box. It comes with a basic foot control. So you're just going to have the most basic foot control they make, which is going to be this one. So it comes with this basic foot control. This comes with the 1 and the 2. This is the only foot control they give you if you have your Luminaire 1 and 2. So Luminaire 3, and if you upgraded to the 3, you're going to get the multifunction foot control. I'm going to show you how to put it together. Okay, it comes with a connecting bar, your main foot control, and your secondary foot control. So this bar is going to connect the two, and you have choices. You can set it up like this. You can set it up like this. You can set it up super close. You can set it up a little bit further apart. I'm just going to go ahead and set mine up like this. So the bar is going to go in between. The big part of the bar goes under the main foot control. The small part goes under this. You have a little slider here so you can set it up close or far with the screws. And then you have 2 screws. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this over. And I'm going to put it on here. And you're going to see you have little hash marks. You don't have to use those, but maybe I'll set it up so I am set up to the first set of hash marks. You're going to hand screw these in, and then you can tighten up with a screwdriver if you want, but you don't have to. The little worthless screwdriver is not a good option for this. Okay, and then the other one goes in right over here, And again, you have this little slider, so we could set it up further apart, or you could set it up closer apart. I mean, closer together. I'm going to set it right there. What you have to be careful of is you have to be careful and make sure you're using the right foot control. I had somebody who set this up for a cut, and they called, they're like, something's wrong with my machine. And they said, every time I press on the foot control, it cuts. And I was like, okay, do you have your multifunction foot control set up? They were like, yeah. I go, look and see where you're pressing and make sure you're in. And that was all it was. They were just trying to sew, but they were pressing this one because it was next to this one. So just know that you need to be careful and know which one you're pressing. Once you go ahead and you attach these, you have this plug, and this plugs into your main foot control. It connects the secondary foot control into the main one. And then this has a nice little wrapping system, so you can just go ahead and wrap it up here when you're not using it, or unwrap it and plug it in. So we're going to talk about this more. I want this set up for your class, but this stepping here makes it go. That will make your machine go. You have a heel tap here. That's going to, there's different actions that you can set that up for, like one stitch, reverse, cut. And then you have another, oh, I actually wanted to put it the other way, but that's fine. And then you have this one that has another action, okay? So you can set that up for reverse, stitch, one stitch, needle up, needle down, so you can do a bunch of things. Have this set up for your class. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this away. What are we on now? So this does not come with Luminaire 1 or 2. This does come with your Luminaire 3, or if you did upgrade 3. That's where this foot control comes in. We already did that center pin. There are these 4 things, okay? And these came with, they did not come with the original Luminaire. They came with upgrade 1. So these are the pieces that go to that. And I'll explain them to you. This is for couching, and this is for embroidery couching. EC is embroidery couching, and it's used with this arm. We'll show you how to use this. We're not going to do it right now. And this is the embroidery couching foot. These are your 2 things that are for embroidery couching. Then you have this one that is, what does this one say on it? Does it have a letter on it? This one is for your sewing couching. So I wonder if it says SC somewhere on here. Does it? No. Sewing couching. This is the bent one. Sewing couching comes with this. It comes with a dual feed couching foot. Do you see how it has a little hole right here in the bottom to thread your yarn or your fiber through? And then it comes with a collapsible eye needle for threading that foot. So these are for sewing couching. These are your sewing and your embroidery couching accessories. This does not come with the original Luminaire or Solaris. This was upgrade 1. It does come with Luminaire 2 and Luminaire 3. So this should come with that. All right, what's next? Next, we're almost done. We're almost there. So that covers these couching accessories, the collapsible eye needle. This, again, is endpoint stickers. This came with 2 and 3, did not come with Luminaire 1 unless you upgraded. And these are the quick reference guide in your project safety guide that I already showed to you. Okay, a couple things that aren't on here that will come with all 3 of your, they come with all 3 of your Luminaires, or all 3 of your Solarises. This is accessory bag of stuff for your spool stand. I'm just going to open it up. I've never opened this because I actually use my 10 thread spool stand, but I'll show you what these are. So there are, and to be honest with you, I'm going to open this up again. I don't use everything in here. Actually, I don't use any of it. I should, well, because I use my 10 thread spool stand. So when you go ahead and put this up, you have, and if you look at your manual, it doesn't even tell us what some of this stuff is. I don't even know what these are because I think they're hats. They're hats for your spool pins. I don't know if you put bobbins here. I don't know what it is. They're not snug, so I've never used these. And I'm going to put them back in the bag. And if somebody knows, and you can let me know, I would love that. These are giant spool pins, and I've never used these either. They're also giant hats. They're snug, but I just don't want my thread to have to kind of climb all the way around that, so I've never used these. And plus, your thread will spool off beautifully without a spool cap. Do not use a spool cap. Number one, if you are using threads like this, make sure you cinch it shut because your thread will get caught in there. And then when you do use your threads on your spool stand, you do not want to use here, let me see if I can give you a little bit of a better angle. See how beautifully it just comes off? I don't know if you can see that. So you don't need a spool cap up here. If you did, I would get the little gray one that snugs in there. So these two things I've never used and I don't know what they're for. And I'm sorry, that's going to be like the worst part of your accessory unboxing because I don't know when to use those. However, there are washers, which I've never used as well. And I have used these. So these are going to be useful if you are using king cones. So here's a king cone of white. And when you put it on, it has a big hole in the base, so it's not very stable. So you can put this is a spool stabilizer, put this down, and then it's not going to be budging. It'll be nice and stable, okay? If you lose them, just check because they get stuck here in the bottom of your king cones. Does not work with a mini cone, just with the king cones. These as well, these I love. Because if you're ever using thread like this, this is Tootie, Wonderful Tootie. Sometimes when it's spooling off, it will come back and get stuck under here. Right, like that. And then it gets tight and it can't feed out. So if you have thread like this, these are spool support. They're not for on top of your machine, but they're to put on the base here so that your thread is flush and it can't drop below the end of the spool and get caught. And then it just feeds off. Okay? That's what these are for that have the bigger hole. They'll work with your Aurafill. This is my Wonderfill. So they work with my Wonderfill. So there's certain spools it will. You just don't want your thread on here and with a chance of the thread that it can loop underneath. So you want it to be nice and flush. So I know what half the things are for and I use half the things, but I don't know what these are just giant hats, thread hats. I'm going to put this back. Washers I've never used either. And those are your accessories for your accessories for your thread stand. I'm going to put this away again. Down, to the right, left, and then put the cap on. All right. The only other things I want to talk to you about is your Lumi Upgrade 1. Again, that's going to be all your couching stuff. Only the Luminaire 1, the original Luminaire came with a 9.5 by 9.5. The other ones did not. If you have Upgrade 2, you got the endpoint stickers. That was really it, and some updated things that happened to the internals of your machine. If you got Upgrade 3 gave you your multifunction foot control that we've already put together. And it also gave you your silver stylus. So it gave you this new stylus. And when you get this stylus, it is going to look like this. And you're going to go, how do I use it? This magnificent looking thing. You have to unscrew it, swing this around, and then screw it back together. And this was your new stylus. And they did this because it was a lot smaller and not as bulbous as the other one. So this works great with the machine. So 3 things. This, the stylus, and you also got your N+ foot. And the N+ foot looks like this. And this is going to be for your decorative stitching. What they did with the N+ foot is they elongated it, so it's going to be longer than your regular foot. Do you see this is your regular end foot? They gave it a Teflon coating on the bottom, so it's more slick. Or not a Teflon coating, but do you see how it's coated? It's like, whatever that is, it makes it smoother. And the longer means there's more points of contact to hold your fabric better. So longer, smoother, this is your N plus foot. So these are the 3 things that came with upgrade 3. Or if you bought a Luminaire 3, these 3 things came with it. If you had the 1 or the 2, it did not come with these 3 things, but you did get it when you did upgrade 3. That is it. Those are going to be the accessories that came with your machine. So now you know what everything is. And next time we get together, we are going to do setup, how to set up your Luminaire. And I will see you later. Bye.